G'day students, today's video lesson is on inverse operations and one-step equations. Inverse operations can also be called opposite operations. Plus and minus are inverse, and multiply and divide are also inverse. They are opposite operations. Equations are sometimes called algebraic sentences. To solve an equation, we need to find a value for the pronumeral that balances the equation. In other words, it makes this algebraic sentence a true statement. Let's give it a go. Okay, let's start off with this one-step equation. X plus 7 equals 15. Now remember that equations always have equal signs. That means both sides always have to be equal. So when we solve equations, whatever we do to the left-hand side, we also have to do to the right-hand side. Keep this in mind. Okay, to solve this equation, we want to end up with a statement that says x equals a number. Now to do that, I need to get rid of this plus 7. To do that, I need to use inverse operations or opposite operations. What's the opposite to plus 7? That's right, minus 7. Okay, so I need to do minus 7 to the left-hand side and also minus 7 to the right-hand side. Remember, always do the same thing to both sides to keep the equation balanced. So let's see how this works out. X plus 7 minus 7 is equal to just x. Put our equal sign underneath our other equal sign. And 15 minus 7, that's 8. So straight away, we've solved our one-step equation. In one step, funnily enough, x equals 8. To check that we've got the right answer, we can put this value of 8 back into our original equation and see that if the statement is true. 8 plus 7 equals 15. That sounds right to me. Great, let's try another one. Okay, for our second one-step equation, we have m minus 7 equals 2. So let's get rid of this minus 7 so we can find out what m equals. The opposite operation of minus 7 is plus 7. So I'll put plus 7 here. And also the plus 7 on the right hand side. Because we have to do the same thing to both. Now let's work through this. M minus 7 plus 7 is just m, because the minus 7 and the plus 7 cancel out. Put our equal sign. And then 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. Great. Solved in one step. Let's check. 9 take away 7 equals 2. Yep, sounds right to me. Okay, now let's try one that involves multiplication. 5 times y equals 15. This is probably a good time to mention that if you see a number next to a pronumeral, it always means times. So we omit the multiplication sign usually. So 5 times y equals 15. Alright, so what's getting done to y now? It's getting multiplied by 5. So the opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. I'm just putting this divide by 5 here. I think you should do the same until you have mastered the concept. Now let's run through this to solve it. 5y divided by 5 is just y. Because the two 5's cancel out. Then we go under here and go equals. Now 15 divided by 5 is 3. So in other words, how many 5's are in 15? That's 3. So y equals 3. Now let's put this back into the original equation and see if it works. 5 times 3 equals 15. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's try a one-step equation with a divide by in it. Let's not forget that this fraction line literally means divided by. So this statement here reads n divided by 3 equals 2. So now, what's happening to n, the pronumeral? It's getting divided by 3. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. It's the inverse operation. So I'll put here, multiply by 3, and also the other side, multiply by 3. Alright. Now because we used inverse operations, n divided by 3 multiplied by 3 is just n. The divide by 3 and the multiply by 3 cancel out. Put our equal sign below our other equal sign, and now we have 2 times 3, that's 6. So solved in one step. N equals 6. Let's put that back into the original formula, or the original equation. 6 divided by 3 equals 2. Or in other words, how many 6, how many 3's? That's 2. So it's right. Great. Now let's try another one, but this time, I'm just warning you, we have to delve into the realm of negative numbers. That doesn't change the way we do it though. So let's look at this. This is n plus 6 equals 4. Okay, what's happening to the pronumeral n? It's having 6 plus to it. So the opposite of plussing 6 or adding 6 is taking away or subtracting 6, okay? So take away 6, and I'll also take away 6 to the other side. Because to keep the equation balanced, I have to do the same thing to both sides, or the equation is not balanced. Now let's work this out. N plus 6 take away 6 is just n. 4 take away 6 is negative 2. Okay? So if I'm at 4 and I take away 6, I end up at negative 2. So now n equals negative 2. Let's put this back into the original equation. Negative 2 plus 6 equals 4. Sounds right to me. Great. Okay, for the final equation of this video, we've got negative 2 times n equals 12. Now, first thing we think is what's getting done to our pronumeral n? It's getting multiplied by negative 2. So let's see what the opposite is. The opposite is dividing by negative 2. So divide by negative 2, and also divide this side by negative 2. Now let's work this out. Negative 2n divided by negative 2, well the negative 2 cancel out and just become n because we're using inverse or opposite operations. And 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. Great. So let's see if this works. Negative 2 times negative 6 is equal to 12. Well, 2 times 6 is equal to 12, and the negatives cancel out, and it becomes a positive. So yes, negative 2 times negative 6 is equal to 12. Okay, that's it from me for this video. So just remember, when solving equations, we're finding the value of the pronumeral that makes this a true statement. In other words, we can say something plus 2 equals 3. I hope you can tell me by now that 1 plus 2 equals 3. Therefore, x equals 1. Alright guys, until next time, see you later.